Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Saturday. Oh, my bad. We ain't there yet. Day. Friday night. Collective Enlightenment. That's what I'm talking about. I'm excited because the weekend is happening and everything, but we gotta go through this wonderful Friday night. And tonight, we talking freedom. So don't forget, share this, like it, subscribe, and you better hit that bell so you can get your notifications because it's
Yes,
about to
yes,
be on.
yes.
You don't want to forget this. Tonight we have an amazing guest. I'm your girl, Ruby T, the crypto queen of Harlem, with some of the hottest. This is why I get to talk. I got some of the hottest guys out here talking with the mans. I get to sit in like a little fly on the wall, but you know I'm gonna say what I gotta say. In the house to the right, well, to my right, I got Mr. Gold Banker in the house. Say
Yeah,
hi, baby.
peace and
A little
blessings,
fly on
y'all.
the wall, but you know I'm gonna say what I got to say.
You know, Gold Bank is in the building, 1 gram at a time, all the time.
And we have our brother in the house, HD. That's my big brother over there. What's up, babe? See, he's muted.
Brother Hutch, you're
You might
muted.
want to unmute for them to know what you
Oh,
were saying.
hey everybody, I'm sorry. It's your main man Hutchin D, aka HD, coming to you live from Dayton, Ohio. Man, we're gonna have a great night show. Miss Ruby must thought we was back last year when we was on Saturdays.
Seriously. Well, I have a full Saturday as well. So much going on this right now. And I got the pleasure because I was like, this brother, we scooped him up. I was not playing. Brother Ernest Stockton is on the show tonight, giving it to us live. I'm loving it. Let them know where you from, bro. Let them know what you came to do.
Right. Welcome, Queen. Ernest Stockton, Dayton, Ohio. Live and direct. Love my city. Love my town. Pleasure being on your platform. Thank you.
Well, platform belongs to all of us. Collective enlightenment means you too. So tonight, you are not a guest, you are a guest host. So it's
Yes,
on.
indeed. Yes,
Don't
indeed.
just sit in that seat. You run that seat. That's your spot. All right. That's right.
we look.
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm really hyped to have brother Ernest here because we transcend some of the same roles. I just say that we transcend them. And brother Hutch is in there, and I know, and he knows what I'm talking about. And this is, I gotta say, this is brother Hutch's boy. They go back. They go way back.
Yes, we
So, but
do.
they're on. He's on the show tonight, and I hope I do. I want to do his introduction, and I want to do it some justice. I really want to do it some justice.
Please do.
So, my brother Ernest Stockton, 15 years in the correctional and reentry field. He's also a graduate of Antioch University. So the man got credentials. I want you guys to know that.
Mhm.
He's been a counselor for current and ex offenders, getting them employment through community service and volunteerism. And,
Mm.
this man has a list of titles at the end of his name we don't need to get into because that's not who he is. But I want y'all guys to get in here tonight and really get to know him. And we're going to talk, we're going to really jump into the conversation. One of the first things I'm really going to, I'm actually very glad that I'm not a native of Dayton, Ohio, but
Not
this
yet.
brother got to be on. Currently doing a TED talk from Dayton, Ohio.
Mm.
So if he could elaborate a little bit on that without giving too much, brother Ernest, the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank
What
you,
we
brother. Brother Alvin and Queen Hutch. Um, it's a pleasure to be here. I first want to thank you for allowing me in. I don't feel like a guest. I feel like family. I feel
good.
like I belong. And I want to thank you. So to jump right in, my TED talk is on recidivism, and the title
Mm.
is an earnest approach to recidivism. So I played on my name, but earnest meaning serious. That's a
Mm.
very serious topic to me. And just as you, brother Alvin, spoke, I've been in the reentry and dealing with ex offenders for over 15 years, actually 20 years to be exact. If I can just throw a solid number out there, I've been
Right.
working in this field for over 20 years.
Mm.
I do have licensures and I have credentials. as well as certificates and things of that nature. But fellas, and ladies and queens, I operate from here and here. And my TED Talk is going to be actually streamed next week on Thursday. Believe that's December 16th. It'll be December 16th. I will be the 5th speaker. December 15th. It's from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And again, I'm the 5th speaker and an earnest approach to recidivism. Right. It's on TEDxofDayton.com. You can either throw it in a search engine or you can go to Facebook. It will also be streamed on Facebook as well as YouTube. So hopefully, you can give me your feedback. I'll have my information and contact information as well posted here as well as there. And I'm real excited. I'm real excited to get the message out. The message is both personal and political in terms of the approach to what recidivism is by definition and how it affected my life personally, me, my children, my family, and how it affected me getting into the workplace. So it affected my employment, my money, my bag, my currency, if you will. So I get in pretty deep into all of that, and I give some good scenarios. So I'm just really anxious to get the message out there. And they say free men give TED Talks, and I consider myself a free man today. So I'm really anxious to look at it.
Fabulous. So are you up for some questions tonight?
I am. Please.
Okay.
Let me hold on before we start. I want to say this man does walk the walk and talk the talk, man. Because like when I call on my brother, he is always there. Because like when I had hosted my back to school bash, and I was looking for me a barber, and this guy right here came in, stayed over, and finished cutting 5 kids' hair. Literally.
You got barbership skills.
Yeah, I'm a licensed barber. Yes, sir.
Okay. So look, I need a little off the side, and I need to taper one.
I'm sorry. Let me turn to this side here. You see the taper? I cut myself.
He cut himself up. That's what's up. That's a skill because everybody can't line themselves up right now.
No, they can't. But I cut when I was locked up. I also cut at the community correctional facility I was in. And I took that skill outward and said, you know what? If I can capitalize off this, make money, stay focused, maybe that'll be enough to keep me out the way. And it did. It did just that.
See, that's amazing. So, we want our young people to be that way about their skill sets, to know themselves enough to say, hey, someone might be interested in investing in me or may pay me for I have something of value just for someone else. And that's something that I'm loving because on this platform is something that we're really promoting and pushing for a lot of our personal communities. The fact that, I'm going to just let you know, it's been, I come from, I'm New York. I'm a New Yorker. And
I know. I can tell.
I did not know what Rikers Island was.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been here for 4 decades. You ain't got to know the exact amount. And to live in this city and not know, and I live in Harlem. That's like where the people get picked up and dropped off going to and from that island. I didn't understand to the depth. I knew it existed. I knew it was a prison, but I couldn't understand the political and the traffic way that was created there and what happens when you get there. That's like a life sentence without a trial. People get lost. And I was like, wait, but how does that happen? How does stuff like that happen? I asked questions. I became an activist in my own community, trying to find out how to help people not go back in and out. When you come out, I was looking for ways to help people have alternatives. A lot of what we do right now is built for folks that we already knew came from that kind of lifestyle, living in that neighborhood, seeing that new things could happen. And he'll be back on. His systems do that for some odd reason we've been. So I just, I want you guys to realize that there's worlds out here while we trying to make our day and make our way home and through things. people are going through stuff that you would be like, nah, that can't happen. Because I told you, I'll be the first one to tell you, there's no way somebody is sitting for 2 or 3 years in jail and they ain't even seen a judge yet. What? 10
Yeah,
years.
I feel
10. No court case. Never once seen the judge. Got picked up, taken to Rikers, and you pretty much got put under a pile of paper. You crazy? You know what prison is like? This city? So it freaked me out enough to want to create alternatives in my community, for my community. I started with tech, and then we moved into finance because tech went to finances. This is the best thing that ever happened to us, this crypto game. And as soon as I get Ernest back on, we can share how he's been, what he's been doing to pull up the slack in that area for his people. Because he's taking that to the professional. And I'm really proud of the work that you have put in. Not everybody takes the road and can come back and stay with the people, because it's another, just to let you know, it's not easy to get people to trust you. You know what I'm saying? To get people to trust that you want to see them do well. Those people have been through a whole lot. They don't trust a whole lot of people who work there. You know what I'm saying? As far as they're concerned, you one of them, but you proved, I'm doing this work. We're going to do this together. It don't got to be that way. So you share your story. I just wanted to let you know, me being, I guess, a little doe-eyed chick, I ain't kidding. I grew up in Harlem, but I guess I was protected. I didn't grow up in the Harlem that folks was worried about. And I don't want to see people suffer, and to see you doing work like that was like, yo, I want him on the show. We need to get him sharing what he do. Brother, let him know what's been going down. How you get here? How did you start?
Okay, well, I appreciate that, what you shared. And the irony is I've actually did a little research on Rikers and how young they start getting them in. For the Latino and the light Caucasian spectrum, they actually got them in a little later. We were actually the first to be experimented with from ages 16 to 17 going to Rikers, unfortunately, at a young age. So on the crossover from juvenile to adulthood, we were the test dummies per se to enter that. So then we had, 16-year-olds being crossed over in adulthood, entering a cell with murderers, rapists, and things of that nature. So when you do the history, and I'll leave that for the audience to decipher. It's very interesting, and for me, just shifting to my personal story, it really, I didn't want to experience what it was to go through corrections. I didn't want to know what it was to get locked up over and over again. I've been locked up several times, in several in different counties, different areas. I think when I finally got to the point, and I'll share a little bit that I shared as well in my TED talk, as was what I started. I did okay. I was a work guy. I was in my 20s. I was doing well. I was working at a Air Force base, actually. So I was working, for a government agency. I didn't have to have one foot in the street. I didn't have to mistreat my family or neglect my family, but I did. And I responded out of ignorance. There was a lot of not knowing. I didn't know about relationships. I didn't know how to be a father. I was unaware. And I'm not using that as an excuse. What I'm saying is I didn't know. We don't know what we know. And ignorance begats ignorance. So if I was to listen to the streets, which I've always been a leader in my own demise, I didn't listen to the streets. I tried to pave my own way, if you will, and it didn't work out. To the short of it is that after my second felony conviction, I realized things are getting harder. More doors are shutting towards employment. More doors are shutting towards relationships that weren't frivolous. I got tired of wanting just this on the side. I got tired of just wanting this as just to do. Frivolous relationships. I got tired of those, but on both the male and female spectrum. Because when I had and things were going good, homies would flock. When I didn't have and things were going bad, it was just me and my higher power. So I got tired of that. And I said, you know what? How can I take this convict, inmate, offender, criminal mindset and this felony stigma that society places on me and turn it into something beneficial? Okay. And I had no clue. And I'll be honest, it took me over a decade to realize that, you know what? You're going to have to give back. Ernest, I told myself, I'm talking to myself, Stockton, you're going to have to reach back. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait, go back to where I just left? The metal clashing, stinky toes, the once in a while letters, the disregard for human life because the guards treat me like trash. I mean, wait a minute, time out. The 24 hours of being phony and fighting when I wanted to sit down, speaking when I wanted to shut up. So I had to tell myself, I said, okay, well, if I'm gonna reach back, it's gonna have substance. It's gonna have to be real. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to come against the very thing that reeled me in, which is the criminal justice system. I wasn't ready for that task, to be honest. And it took me trying to go out in the work field and say, hey, look at me, I'm educated, I'm degreed, I'm Black. And for them to slam the door so many times before I realized, you know what? They see my record before they see me.
That's right.
Very true statement. Very true statement.
Right.
Even on this side of the world, there's a lot of programs that allow, felons or convicted individuals to educate themselves, and they come out with fellowships and BAs. And the only place they can really work a lot of times is still fast food, unless the college or one of the people who were his instructor pulls them into something. And then it's in a very limited scope. They're more of, and I don't like to say this word, but it's more of a gopher than actually a colleague inside a work facility.
Right.
You're the gopher because they still see that record when they look at it.
Absolutely.
It's a real thing.
And so, I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I don't want to gloss over it because I know that, and I had said that I want to say thank you for just being so transparent with us. People who have been through the system would like to shed their past. They would like others not to see that. But one of the things that I have learned through my journey, and my journey is all of you who you are today and going forward comes from that person. Without them, you would not have found this person.
Yes.
And the strength that you have, everything you're drawing off of right now,
Yes.
I think personally that this journey has done so much more for you. I love what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
I'm hearing you speak from a soul, someone who has actually gained just presence of people, not self, but people. It's different because we live in here all the time. I am the greatest. You ain't the greatest till someone tells you are. Do something for somebody else and then you'll be great. Put them first before you.
Yes.
But that's so hard to see when it's all coming at you and you have it's like a hunger and a need. You start fighting with the requirements of life. And I just want to, as you just brought so much back, so many, we've done job fairs, my company. And I've had so many people with different backgrounds, and yes, some were felons. And I had to remind them, and I've actually, one gentleman was like, I've never heard this. I said, don't you ever come to another of these tables and tell them what you did before. You came here to talk about what you're going to do for them, what you're capable of bringing. Because that's going to show up. They're going to talk about that. But you get them interested in who you are today and what y'all going to do together tomorrow. And it'll be a different story. He started crying. And I said, I didn't realize how I'd impacted him until that happened, because nobody told him that. In a room of over 100 applicants and 16 tables. I just couldn't see my brother going from a table to table And no one told him, we're not interested in your past. We have work for the future. What can you do for me? And you figured out that on your own. I'm just so, man, don't start me up about being tears of danger.
Nah,
So I'm sorry,
keep
I need
coming.
to cut you off, but you got my heart over here, bro. You got my
Keep
heart over.
coming. Yeah.
Brother Hutch, you got anything for your brother?
Man, like I said, me and my brother Stockton talk all the time at work, and I'm so proud of him, coming getting his MBA this year. That was a major
Shout
accomplishment.
out.
Yes, yes, Minneapolis University.
And put the work in.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
but it also inspires me to see brothers like Stockton and brothers like Kevin Thompson. Shout out to Kevin Thompson, from Care Bars and
Yeah.
G99,
Yeah.
because them brothers right there putting in work and changing their lifestyles and helping other people change their lifestyles.
You still owe me an ice cream cone. I'm about to get that too.
We got some folks out here in the audience. They just said, okay, I connect with, that's what's up. Miss Chocolate Gold. Yes, she does. She works with them with the finances and the smart contracts. So think of it.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. And even those who are still there. Miss Ashley is also sharing with us. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we want to thank everybody who's joining us. Y'all make sure y'all give some loves. I wish we could just give like snaps and claps and loves and likes, because we just need that energy, y'all. We need that energy. I'm like, this is powerful. I mean, what is your experience been like? Changing the sides of, I should say, changing on the sides of the bars for you. What is it like to be able to talk to some folks that's been through, is going through what you've been through?
Great question.
That's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that. For me personally, where I lead and what led me to actually want to try out for the TED Talk of Dayton was the fact that, not that my story was different, not that there's not thousands or if not millions out there with the same similar story or guideline, where they've gotten in trouble with the law and then getting out, they can't find nothing good, so they divert back because I'm a multiple convicted felon.
Right.
That story is normal. So for me, to get me going, to get me past where I was and to get me past myself, if you will, was to say that, you know what, this thing called ex-offender and felonism is real.
Mm.
And this thing right now, where society is, they don't look at us the same. I mean, even with, 2 degrees and several, and I'm licensed and a chemical dependency licensed counselor and all this other stuff. Even with that, I'm still a felon. And that goes to one of the jokes one of my homie told me, which, it wasn't a joke or a real. He said, what do you call an educated felon with a doctorate degree? And I asked him, I'm like, well, what? He says, a felon. you know. So for me, I didn't like that. That didn't sit well with me. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. In the eyes of society, once you've been touched and involved in a correctional institution, and once you've been involved in the criminal justice system, you'll always be stigmatized as a felon. Degree, family, or indifferent, whether you're married, licensed, bonded, it doesn't matter. I'm a felon at the end of the day. And that didn't rest easy with me. So I'm like, okay, I can't, my story's not different, and I don't intend to make it different because I'm an introvert by nature, and I don't like a whole bunch of attention, unfortunately, even though the work that I put in makes a lot of noise. Hutch will tell you, it makes a lot of noise. Everybody in my establishment will tell you about Stockton. I'm very voiced in us in representing those that's been touched by the system. But the thing that really reeled me in to answer your question was this: the damage that I caused my family, the collateral consequences that I face daily, even being degreed, educated, and all that, and all that, and employed, I still face collateral consequences, such as, in some states, voting rights, reaching a higher level of education, the ability to protect myself, traveling, getting benefits from the government. Those are collateral consequences that I still face, no matter how much education I get. No matter how much education I get, state to state, it differs, but we still have things as ex-offenders that we face. No matter how many acronyms are after your name, sir or ma'am, you can have a comma PhD, but if your felony is within 2 decades, guess what? They're going to look at that. They're going to consider that. And if it's expunged or forgiven, they still look at that. It's still looked at. So my thing is not to override any of that, but to say, you know what? There's a lot of other things that you need to consider, a whole lot of other boxes that you need to check off other than have you been convicted of, yes or no. And I know that Ohio, per 2015 July, we're a no box state. So typically where I'm at in Ohio, we don't have that. Have you been convicted of? If so, disposition. But here's how employers get around that. They let you know. And I also, Hutch to tell you, I also facilitate job readiness classes 8 a week. I facilitate for the ex-offenders, okay? Both I'm a supervisor over the men and women. I'm also a peer recovery supporter, those who have been dealt with alcohol or drug addictions as well as mental health issues. I'm also not only a part of that as a peer supporter, but I'm also a peer support supervisor. So I have a group that we dispatch and that do the same function. But here's the part of the work that I want to focus on. Once we get to a spot where we can get an employer or we can get a property manager to look at us as a human being and say, okay, have you had any diversion? Have you had any intervention? Have you had any groups sustaining that can get you into this place where I feel comfortable putting you into this condominium or this apartment or this house? Please share. That's the part of the conversation I'm trying to get to. Not everyone is institutionalized.
Right.
And myself and Brother Alvin had this conversation. Yes, there's a place for people. Prisons are needed. We're not going against that. I'm not despiting. But there's also other folks that can be diverted, that says enough is enough. I need to change my life, that want more.
So can we address the, we got to address the bull in the china shop, because I mean, it's realistically, how in the position that you hold as a reentry counselor, how do you destigmatize the 3 hots in a cot from the individual who is in there to going out in the real world and realizing that they can make a significant impact on being a human being back in the world? How is that, put together?
That's a good question. And we have statewide, also in community corrections, as well as regular corrections, whether it's private institutions or government funded. But we have what's called assessments, okay? And we use various names. There's different titles for them, but we use assessments. And what that is when someone gets sentenced, we kind of track them to see what classes they're taking, what programs they're taking, and where they're at in terms of interviewing them mentally, going over their finances versus their level of education and their family engagements. And we filter that. Okay, then they're put in classes, such as the one that I'm over, the department I'm over, your employment readiness classes, your substance abuse classes, your criminal cognitive stuff and things like that, parenting, anger management. We put them in classes. And then there's a variable, there's a language that they use to kind of filter out, okay, this person is here, this person is there. And then once we calculate that and do a final assessment on where that person is, that'll kind of give the system, if you will, a projectile on if they're going to recidivate or not. Recidivate, commit another crime in 3 months to 3 years.
Thank you for saying that. Not everybody knows what recidivism is.
Yeah, it's an ex-offender being convicted of another crime.
Yeah, the likelihood of them coming back into the system.
Absolutely.
And I'm just so in awe of the work that you guys do, because it can't be easy. You know what I'm saying? People, that's what my husband was saying about the institutionalized. People can institutionalize is that you've gotten used to a routine. It's you've become a person. You are now a part of a culture. And those things, we're at this point where we're becoming a part of a digital finance culture. That's actually a culture separate from the current one that we've been a part of. So it's hard for people to hear when you've been doing this as part of your whole world, and this is all you have known for this amount of time. I'm gonna just share something with you. To go into to go into jail, into prison immediately, the person you know yourself to be as a free person gets locked up. That's like taking a free bird and sticking him in a cage. He ain't gonna know what to do. It's almost like he gonna bang his head around the whole. It's like that's what's happened in your head. I've never been to jail, and talking to my cousin who'd been there for a long time. I got that from visiting him once. I visited him once because he was in another state. This is not where I live. So in visiting him as a visitor, all I wanted to do was take my cousin past some seats where we sat, where a guard with a gun prevented him from walking out of this place, and past those chairs, he could lose his life. I couldn't take him with me. So I can only imagine being on the other side with the door shutting. I had to leave him there. And I'm just a visitor.
Yeah.
This is your whole family, y'all. And we need to understand this. It is not a simple thing. It is not, because it is common doesn't mean that is regular. It's okay, it happens. It affects everybody on a higher level.
And I just want to add to that, the families that get involved. I'm so glad you went there. It's not just us that are the incarcerated, but it's the incarcerated family and support system that gets. And I speak to this. I speak to this in my TED talk very briefly about the effect that it had on my children, and who were toddlers at the time. They're adults now. But I speak to trying to reintegrate back. You know, it's hard being a father behind 3 to 4 inches of glass, or knowing that to have a visit, you're going to get violated on the way back in by a guard that has you.
We're here with you, brother, today. We're here. We in today. I know. This is real, y'all. This is
something that really gets people. People who aren't on the inside don't understand this, because this is the one part. This is the one part of getting to see your family.
Ernest, you need a minute?
Thanks.
This is the one part of seeing a family member that is the most humiliating thing to an individual. And I got to be very honest about it. It is humiliating. And despite who the individual is doing the search and how, professional they are at doing it, makes the difference.
Yeah.
Because you can be professional and get your job done and, give the guy some sense of humility.
Yeah.
Or then you could be the other type. And that's all I'm going to say.
And being exposed to human beings.
This is the most vulnerable any person can be. This is not a man or woman thing. This is a human being thing.
Exactly.
Truly being a
It's
human being.
learned from my husband. I learned from my husband who works in the field. Y'all all know Mr. Thomas is in corrections. You know, he shares with me the law and the responsibility that that the officers there they take on. You are considered the people who are there are considered a ward of the state. It's like being a child. You know, my daughter goes, I remember my child used to be like, "Oh, Ma, you want to know everything?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I want to know everything and check your bag and, what's going on? Make sure everything's good." Grown ass man. Somebody got to check him to be able to walk away from his family. A woman, a grown woman. We, we got to get back to our mind. We got to get our mentality back. And I think that's what Alvin was talking about, because people get reverted back mentally and emotionally to childhood. That whole three hots in the cot thing is, we back in the day, we used to joke about it. But the fact of the matter is that's that's a mental state, a system.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't. I really, I really want to change gears here that we can. I want everybody,
Yeah.
this is real talk here. We're not pulling any punches here, brother Ernest. Thank you for
Thank you
being
for
so candid and open with us. It takes a lot to be here and have this conversation.
I just wanted to, Miss Ashley's is typing. She wanted to say you're not alone.
I
And
just
that
want to
yeah.
I just want to say to reiterate back into the whole family issue. I have uncles and cousins who've been in and out the system, and I never visit a jail until I actually started working in one.
Yep.
And which was the craziest thing about it. But
Look,
I also want to shout out Kanye West, because when he brought light to the Larry Hoover situation, and because
Mhm.
his son, it was on the end of his song. I forgot which the name of it. It was the end of his song, and his son said he went off to college thinking that his dad was gonna come home. He graduated college, and now he has his young daughter about to go to college, and his young son is in the 8th grade, and they never met their grandfather.
Mm.
It's not just always about him and his legacy as being the street guy and all this, that, and the third. But we also forget that this man has a family as well.
Yes.
We all just gotta memorize that these people do have family members that actually care and actually on loved ones on the outside that love them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You
We are
know,
attached and connected. Go ahead, Ernest. I'm sorry. And thank you so much for being so candid with your life. We appreciate you.
yeah. Well, at this point, I've been vulnerable publicly, so it's only a must that I share, because the disclosure, and this is what my purpose is. To be honest, I'm purpose to share the pain and the struggles, as well as the successes of what it is to be an ex-offender, a convict, and to move past things. This is not the path that I've chosen necessarily ideally, but it's the path that I ended up, and I'm willing to take up that banner and go forward with it. But I also wanted to speak to the hardships of trying to help those that don't want to be helped.
Mm.
Myself and brother Alvin, and I call him my brother
Mhm.
because we connected so forwardly. Um,
Don't worry. He adopted you too. He came here smiling.
he did, but I think that the one of the toughest things of this area, this field that I'm in, this work that I do, I don't call it a job, it's just the work,
That's right.
is trying to let people know, hey, I'm fighting for people that don't necessarily want to be fought for.
Yep.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
tough.
Yes.
I've had people look me dead in my retina and say, Stockton, you know what? I don't care about my family. I don't care about my kids out there. I got plenty. I got a plethora. I don't care. This is where I'm at, and this is what I'm going to do. And yet, it's that person that I still keep moving forward and fighting for.
That's right.
That's the most challenging part of this
Mhm.
whole arena that we're in, is a fight for people who are not willing to or don't even want to fend for themselves. That's very difficult. It's very challenging.
Mm-hmm. I can
I just want to
understand
put
that.
that out there.
That's your
Yeah.
purpose. I just want you to, because I heard you say something. A lot of us think that our circumstances are something that we didn't choose. Believe it or not, every decision we ever made, we chose that. By
Right.
choice, we got there. But what happens is you chose another path. That's another choice you made. You're choosing to fight. This is a different position in your choice. You were like, before it was like, look, stuff is hard, I'm gonna go get it. Now it's like stuff is hard and I can go get it. I can have anything I want. And there's a way for me to do it. I'm gonna figure it out. You can't, you are a whole another person, but you got the same motivation.
Yes.
Mhm. Because
Yes.
Ernest, I'm sitting back here and I'm really involved, really entrenched in this conversation. And one of the things that really come up for me when you speak is the fact that, and Ruby alludes to it, we don't choose the path we walk. But it made me think of, the Bible because, we all come up with, we get up in the morning and we say, we write this plan out of how our life is going to go from beginning to end. And then, we're playing it out. And then, our Heavenly Father, if y'all believe in that or whatever, you know, he says, hold on. I'm about to turn the switch on your plan. I got another road for you. I know you have a point in time that you're trying to get to, but I have a diversion for you because this is going to add to who you are. And it's going to add to who you speak to as the person that you're going to be. And I can only believe that God had a bigger plan than you ever had in store for yourself. A bigger plan. And, yes, you have to go through some adversity. Yes, you have to go through some trials. You have to go through questioning who you were as an individual. And now you're out on the other side. Now, and I'm gonna use Ruby said a lot of times her goal in life is to speak to 10,000 people, to affect 10,000 people.
That's right, directly.
I allude to you that you're on that same plan. You just didn't know the plan was coming to you this way.
That's right.
Because every time you helped one of those individuals come from behind the bars and change their life, you've created a detour in their life that they never thought they saw coming.
Yeah.
And I just say gratitude to you, brother. Gratitude to you.
I look forward to being a part of your journey. Whatever support that you need. We are P2G. It's a network of people who are here to help build and support folks who are supporting bigger than they are. We realized that things were going to change drastically. One of the things, and I talked to Chocolate Gold Bay about this. It was kind of almost a call, an emergency call to life, to try to reach out to ex offenders and some felons that were still in jail, to contact them about the new economy, because we believe that second chances have to be created. They can't be given.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, most people keep waiting for it's like people waiting for their big break. Stop big breaking it and go out there and create something. Hollywood gonna be chasing you by the end of the day, because what you put on is gonna be so bad it's gonna attract everybody. Do the work. And that's when, that's why I said, when we talk to folks and they tell me, well, I got a record, I'll be like, well, I ain't interested in your record. I want to know what can you do for this company, because I'm going to hire people because we need help to grow our business. That's all that matters to me. What can you do to make sure all of us eat together?
It's really amazing when and I don't know if Brother Stockton, you do this. I think you may tell them to be authentic with people and tell them that they did anything, but is that the first thing you tell them to do? Raise your hand and say I was convicted, because it seems like that's a trend. They do.
No.
Well, remember when I was doing Jonathan? I want to let you know first. Hey, like they're wearing it like a badge of honor.
Yeah. No, and I'm gonna be honest, Brother Alvin. I didn't do that at my place of business, the community correctional facility I'm in now. I'll just put it out there, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or give myself too many kudos up front. But I've been promoted 5 times. And I'm coming up on my 10-year tenure in January 13th. I started from the door, and I'm a supervisor now over 2 different.
I like how you said
that's one. That's my higher power right there. Okay, I don't take the credit for that, but being a willing vessel. This is what I tell the inmates there now.
Yes,
I tell them. You sell the man you are now. Don't sell who you were. Sell them who you are.
Thank you.
Tell them who you are right now. Now, this doesn't work for everybody because some people, in all honesty, they got another play in them. They got another quick lick in them they about to hit. They got another needle in them, another drink in them. They got another illegal substance in them.
Okay.
But for those men that are sick and tired, and women that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, I tell them, claim who you are right now. You convince them, I'm done with that. You'll be missing out if you don't choose me. And that's what I did. And that's how I got to the position I'm in now.
FOMO.
Exactly.
Fear of missing out. Now, I got to go. You just said, you spoke to all the things that are the common denominator for recidivism.
Yeah.
Alcohol, drugs, those are the key. Now, being an individual who's responsible for the ASAC, KSATs of individuals, and these are just the programs they use to help program inmates in and out of their, for lack of a better term, recessive behaviors. What are the key steps for bringing the individual to recognizing there's a problem that they have to address firsthand?
Okay. I don't know if this is the right spot or not, but I just want to just shed a little light. I do talk about this in my upcoming book that's coming forward. That'll be released in the month. It's called The 3 Pillars of Reentry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A guide for ex-offenders' success. And I speak to this. There's 3 pillars. There's me needing to know what I need to do and what I'm up against when I get released. There's the community knowing what to expect from me and who I am and what I've been through.
Right.
And then there's my supporters, my support system.
That's what I was going to ask.
Who do I have having my back that's in my best interest? So to answer your question, first things first, I got to recognize who's who and put and categorize this thing.
Yeah.
If I don't know where to put my confidants, those that support me, and separate them from my past and those that was on when I'm on and around when I'm up, if I don't know how to differentiate, I'm not going to do well. So the first thing is to be, and I hate using this term because I know it's very cliche over the internet and over different platforms. I have to be woke. I have to be woke. I have to know, bro, you don't even know what spirituality is, so you can care less if I'm praying 7 times to the east or to the west. You don't really care about my, bro, you ain't asked me about my son and if I engaged with him, been to a parent-teachers conference or been to the doctors with him. So you're not a father, you're a deadbeat, so you ain't asking about my, bro. I got to learn what a toxic and a healthy relationship is before I can engage in one. So it starts with me. It starts with me. Once I know how to move and once I know what the system is and how the system is not for me, I don't want to go there.
Look, don't open that bag. We had that conversation earlier prior to the broadcast.
I love it because this speaks to the mindset of leaving the system. Now, see that the facts, sad part of the facts is that's how not having to be able to discern this process is how you got there in the first place.
Yes.
Believe it or not,
Yes.
not knowing who
Oh,
was
yeah.
in your life as is
Yes.
before you got there helped you walk right in them doors.
Yep.
And the fact is once you could get to that point, if you could even hear it and open your brain up to the fact that, yeah, that's so funny. Ain't nobody asked me. Oh, okay, so they may not be my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be that homie that I could depend on. That might not be my girl. That's not my ride or die. Okay, maybe mom's not good for me. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes mom's not good for you. You have to and still be in a space of love for that person, but you ain't got to depend on them.
No.
We got to learn how to have healthy relationships and to determine what one looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I got, it's funny, because we're talking and, those healthy relationships, and you alluded to it earlier. You said, when you're up, they got your back, they're in your corner. When you were laying down at night and you were and those walls, the only thing between you was that 4-inch piece of concrete and those metal bars that you stood out of. How many of them boys even dropped you a line to say, yo, I got you? People got to understand, who your boy is or who your girl is in the street, and they say they're down for whatever. The day you hit state ground or federal ground, you really find out what they're down about. And that is the scariest thing, because you're going in this dolo. Wait. Hold on. You're going there by yourself. I got to catch you.
Dolo. It's all right. I know what you meant.
Okay.
What is a DOLO? Okay.
Dolo.
You there, you by yourself.
Pretty much.
And if you get one call from any one of them who you put on your phone list,
yeah,
or they even answer your call, you consider them somebody. But 9 times out of 10, when you make that first list, none of them answer up but your mom if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Because some of you guys did some of you individuals, I'm not gonna put this all on male, because there's some women, their moms won't even answer the phone for them because they left their life in such disarray because they were doing them.
Exactly.
And you can't be part of the community doing yourself.
The other thing is coming back in, and you spoke to this at big time. You leave your life in disarray and expect to find that that's going to be supportive when you get out. You gonna have to fix it before you get out.
Yep.
You're gonna have to amend. One of the things that we work on, one of the things that Al and I work on with communication in our family, in our community, within our relationship, is admitting our parts, admitting who we're being. We got to admit when, that was a stupid argument. And I had a point and I didn't have to yell, you know what I'm saying? But my part, but you could have did better. Okay, stop. Okay. Stop.
I want you to understand how she is what I try to work on a regular basis.
Oh,
I'm perfect. I'm perfect. No, I'm not. I'm so far from perfect.
I see this, right? Anyway, the thing about it is that, like, I was hearing you guys talk about excuses. You said something about excuses. We have a thing about excuses. So the word sorry is like a placeholder for the next time you're going to do it again.
Right.
An excuse, and like you said, say it again because you said it so eloquently. Right. Say that one more time.
Well, I don't want to own that. That's not mine.
No, it's not yours, but I want you to.
Because that's in a book. It's not mine. I borrowed it. Let's disclaim that.
Okay. All right.
An excuse is the skin of a lie wrapped in a reason.
There you go.
And that's one of the books that we have going around at our place of business, where they let the inmates, or what we call as residents, we reference them as residents. We let them know, like, hey, it starts with you. It begins with you, basically, right? And you were talking about family relations, and that's huge, and Al did as well. It still starts with me. I'm not. I can't finesse you into putting money on my books when I wasn't even talking to you when I was out there. That's stupid. That's
That's
dumb.
a
You're
whole
making-
nother conversation into it.
Yeah, let me stop.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I'm
gonna
gonna leave that alone. Okay, let me
So
retract.
just coming from a relative as an adult, you know, as we get older, now this has nothing to do with being in the correctional facility. I want you guys to start thinking about the relationships that you have with your relatives, those you have not called in a long time, those
Yes.
you hadn't called since you needed something last time. You might not have seen them since the last birthday, holiday, or funeral or wedding. Those people who you might, and you say, oh, I love them. And this includes siblings, people you grew up 18 years in the same house with, if that long. I want you to think about calling them on the phone and telling them really what it is, or being able to get them to have a conversation with you for more than 5 minutes. And you don't ask them for nothing. You don't
Yeah.
blame them for anything. Okay. Keep that in mind. No gossip. Okay. Can we sit down and have a conversation for what it is that you would like to create with them in the relationship you'd like to see y'all have?
Yes.
What you miss about them, and to create a plan to put that in action. And a date. Don't forget to date it now. This is the holiday season. Let's just throw that out there. A nice little challenge. Pick one. You ain't got to pick five. Pick one relative.
Look, that's gonna start a whole world of something.
And no matter what they say, they could say stuff like, you hurt my feelings. Remember when you anything, and you go, wow. And all your reaction is, wow, I didn't know you felt like that.
Wow.
You know, I went through a program. I don't know how many people have heard of Landmark Education. It's a program that teaches you to develop your interpersonal and relational communication with the world around you, everything. And it starts with you. Now I paid like $900 to get connected to this fool, and yes, she was a fool because she thought it was everybody's problem. Everybody was the problem but me. I was perfect. Anybody else been in their perfection? It looked good. Yes, it did. Everything. It's their problem. They got a problem. Everybody got a problem. They did this, they did that. Guess who was at all of those arguments, disagreements, and I was always there. But it's all their problem, all the many of them. And my life was going how they decided, because I would not decide for myself that my life was going how I chose. I love my brothers and sisters, but I hate to tell you this, and I just wanted to give you here. This is it, and this does go back. You are not an adult to your brothers and sisters. They do not know you. Your parents don't know you. These people don't know your person and the things that you want today. They don't see that. They have a whole life. Y'all all don't know each other. If you're not talking to each other often, interacting, sharing with each other openly, and being honest with each other, guess what? Y'all are the same 16, 15, 12-year-olds. You are still relating to each other as the children you were raised as.
Yeah, it gets deep, bro.
When you go through jail, when you go to jail, I want you to think about who you left them with in their minds. You understand where I'm coming from now? I had to rebuild the relationship with my sisters and brothers.
Whoa!
One conversation at a time, being in a conversation for creation instead of who they always knew me as. And they could not hear me for a while, and I had to keep pushing at it and being the person they couldn't hear.
And
for a
that
while.
was multiple conversations. I was there.
I was the bossy. I would thought I knew it all. I was 44. What is it?
You're not my mother.
40 years old. Having this conversation at 40.
Oh God.
The people who knew me as a 16, 13-year-old. Still relating to the people I grew up with, grown folks, still relating to me as my 16-year-old self. My loves, the only thing that changed somebody's mind about you is what you do today on a regular basis with them. So when this gentleman talks about this, it's like it really does get to my heart. Because like I said, with my nephew, my cousin, I didn't see a grown man behind bars. I saw my cousin, the one we grew up with. I'm like, he can't be here. This is not it. That was my mentality.
There are grown men around your young nephew,
I
your
know.
cousin.
And so this goes deeper, and we all have to heal from it. We have to be a part of the healing together. This doesn't just go on their side to our side. Got to be willing to pick up the phone and hear something new. Because I do think I'm an adult, and I've taken on some new features in my life and characters. I think and hope.
Maybe got a couple kids, you know.
I know. Something they don't know about. But
Look,
my love,
we have 9 adopted children that ain't even ours, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm
yes,
one of
we
them.
do. Yes, I'm at least an auntie at least 3, 4 more times. And it's okay. Because we want to share. Collective Enlightenment shares the world with you. The world as it is. It's not always pretty. It's not always easy. It can be very fun. It can be. And extremely scary. But together, when we open ourselves to each other, we can actually grow. We become a passageway for life. And I want y'all all to remember, you have to ask for help when you need it. And then you have to listen and help others. Listen for when others need you. Some of them calls that go into a prison actually aren't for what's needed on this end. Sometimes they call you and you got to hear them and hear what's missing for them on the other side. And that's just me speaking to my brothers and sisters. Okay? That helps you get back home while you're there.
Absolutely.
Ernest, I got to say thank you so much. Brother, I'm so looking forward to your book. I'll be sending that out. I'm getting a couple of copies, and I'll be sending out as presents.
Look, I want part 2 of this conversation after the book come out. We got to have part 2 after the book come out.
We hope to have you back on. Collective Enlightenment is for everyone. Brother, where can they find you? Where's your book coming out? I want them to, let's get it again. Where you going to be? Where's the program going to be at?
Okay, well, my book's coming out. It's scheduled to be out in, of course, the end of January. But of course, with me dealing and being a self-publisher, there may be some kind of delay, but I don't foresee that. So the end of January of 2022. So I'm looking at the end of January. I'm looking at the end of January. Okay.
All right.
The 3 pillars.
The 3
pillars.
The
3 pillars of reentry. That's what the title is. And if I can get, if I can just throw out there, it's not only for those who've been touched and involved in the criminal justice system, but it's for the families and those that it affect. Us, the employers, the community. It's for everybody.
Yep.
So we can have a clear understanding on what's going on in the minds and the hearts and the intellect of those who have been involved in the criminal justice system, and how we expect to give, how we expect to be received, or how you may want to receive us. Right. Just having that dialogue. It's all about dialogue. Okay.
Do you do family sessions?
I'm sorry?
Do y'all do family sessions for reentry?
We do. Yes.
Oh,
that is job. We do family sessions. We do I personally don't do individual sessions because of what my licensure covers and what I'm kind of bonded into at my place of business. But yes, we do that. And those that are in other areas right now, those that are in other areas or other facilities or family members, you can suggest family sessions and meeting with your loved ones on the one-on-one, even if there's a counselor there or someone that's a licensed counselor there. And maybe you suggest talking to them so you can see what their expectations are, what they need from you, what they expect from you, and then vice versa. What you expect from them, you can share. So
that creates a homecoming plan. I love it. Oh, you got love. Y'all got love out here. Let these
Yeah.
Okay, adoption. Final be the change.
Be the change. Hey, assalamu alaikum, my brother. Yes.
Oh, and these, I just want to make sure we play them because these are love. This is love for you guys. Miss Ashley was like, tell it for sure, please, because this is what's up. We have people who are part of our network and they share, and I love it because it's a network of sharing. If we don't, our communities of our communities die.
Yeah.
And the fact is that it's happened so many times, whereas people have slipped through the cracks, lives of future children, generations. I want this to be a new generational wealth. So we contribute this way while you're on this side. When we get to them, they got a plan coming out. There's a way. So that's what we're like. We want to work this. If they take care of you, take care of that mindset. We'll take care of the management. You know what I'm saying? We take care of the little financial management, how it connects to your life, helping your family. Because we don't start doing this. This is the part that always fails. They go back into a system where they don't make enough money. They stay around. They got to stay around the same people that they used to live around, or they find another community that matches the same one, and they can't afford to come out of the space. Well, the goal is to teach them a new way of creating finances, to managing the problem in the first place, and being able to connect and communicate with people who think in a different way, building the network.
And you know what, sister?
Is part of P2G. We love you.
Well, I just wanted to tell you, sister, also love you guys more. Okay. But a lot of guys, you just spoke on a part that we don't really speak a lot of. On an 80-20 system, we probably speak to less than 20%, maybe 10, maybe 5 on financial literacy and financial education in terms of budgeting and investments. And I got a lot of guys on their way out. They say, Mr. Stockton, how can I invest? Do I go to the NYSE or how do I do this? Which companies do I do this, that? What do I invest in? I got a little money. And I just tell them, hey, man, you're going to have to go talk to Hutch. I ain't going to point to him. You got to go
exactly.
I don't know. That's it, but
send them to Hutch, send them to the network. We are all good. That's how it is.
That's what I tell them.
I'm not going to say it because I used to have this saying, what is it? You hook them, we cook them. I got you. It's like, but the fact is we got to get our minds together in that way. If they're gonna take that mindset to it, you got that right. We're gonna cook these grits together, and we don't have a meal. That's how that works, guys. We gotta hop off here because we're getting ready to teach the class now.
Wow.
Introduction to cryptocurrency. We always give a little extra info, so those who are listening, hop on P2G Network. If you need the class link, it's pennies2go.info. I think I got one up here for you, and you guys just check it out. Go sign up. It's a free Zoom. Hang out in the room because it's gonna be on. Today we're gonna give you a little taste, just a little taste. Can I do it, Hutch? Just a little real estate.
Huh?
Give him a little taste of real estate.
Go ahead.
All right, cool. That's my teacher right there. That's the brother that taught me that. And we went in, baby. I bought me some property today. I got me some properties and I put my name on some stuff. I don't know if I got them yet, but I put my name on some.
Put your name on it.
I was like, put my name on it. Our names are the same. So he just assumes I'm going to put his name down there. But there are different concepts of creating finances nowadays, and we got to embrace them as a community. So come in the room and listen live and hang out with us for a little bit to see what we do to introduce what crypto is to everybody. Have fun, everybody. We'll see you soon. P2G Networks. We'll get you in here. And